The trans community and the trans movement is really shaking the course of what people think gender identity is supposed to be.
So in one sentence, you're saying that you guys are not responsible for the indoctrination that's currently happening with
Absolutely
children.
not.
And in the second sentence, you are saying we are shook by the fact that you are responsible for it.
No, you are.
Yeah. Yes, yo, get that chick a hand, bro. Yo, that right there, there's nothing she can say. That right there, she put her in her fucking place. That's what I'm talking about. That's crazy. All right, man, turn to talk. You know what it is, man? Like, share, subscribe to the page, man. You know, man. So, once again, I want to do a reaction to another conversation that I seen. Merry Christmas, everybody, too, man. I'm just chilling home, you know, just watching, reacting. There's a video going around where a trans woman versus conservative women, and they're having a great discussion, and some of the stuff that people saying, you know, they told me to go look at it, so I'm gonna look at it. So let's just go to it, man. Let's get it.
Okay, so if I were a white person and I said I want to transition into a black person, and I'm redefining what blackness is to fit what I view it as, right? Would you consider that appropriation?
I consider that dodging, and I consider that comparing apples to oranges because race and gender identity are two separate different things.
Stop it. Yo, you listen, you transgender motherfuckers need to really chill. Y'all need to really chill. You gotta chill. You gotta chill. You gotta fucking chill. What the fuck are you talking about? If she identifies as something, it's not dodging, bitch. That's what it is. According to y'all definition. According to your definition, when you identify as something, that makes you that. Now you're saying, let me just go, man, because this shit is gonna get crazy.
Step forward if you agree. The transgender movement is indoctrinating our youth.
We are seeing, especially on social media, on TikTok, you're seeing a lot of people in this community really just targeting children, and you're seeing drag shows, even in conservative states like Texas, and even just media, movies, like it seems like everything seems to be targeted at these kids. You have drag story hour for kids, and it's just really, I think, predatory in a way. And I'm not saying every trans person is doing this, but as a whole, there does seem to be a route that they're taking to get to the kids.
And when you hear Blue's Clues playing in the next room, and then you hear the gay parade song, it's Blue's Clues, you're not expecting to be talking to the children about that. It really makes you wonder, are they really coming for the children?
And I think we see in our population now, the rate of young children who are identifying as transgender, non-binary is skyrocketing. And I think there's something to be said for people who are truly experiencing gender dysphoria, which we recognize exists, and those who are experiencing what is now going to be called, or in the future going to be called, this social contagion gender dysphoria, where they're being exposed to it on social media or in school, or mom and dad are having a conversation about it with children, and children are now starting to develop gender confusion.
Or even babies, right? People who are being born, they don't have to put the gender on the birth certificate, and they're saying you can choose whatever you want to be. Like, that's so dangerous.
Yo, this shit is so wild to me, how society has changed like this, yo. This shit is crazy. Like, you don't have to put the gender on the birth certificate because you can be whatever you want to be.
To them saying like, oh, if we put you on hormone blockers at this age, it won't do anything to your puberty, it won't affect you long term. And it's just a straight up lie. And there's like an entire Reddit thread dedicated to people who've transitioned, talking about how much they hate their life now because they transitioned as a child and now they amputated off healthy body parts and are miserable.
All right, can the disagreeer step forward?
The fact that the trans movement has got people shook, has me so excited.
Okay, why? Why are you excited that the trans movement is scaring people? That's what lets me know automatically that you're a crazy person. You shouldn't be excited that people are scared. Like, why are you so excited about it?
Trans movement is not indoctrinating our youth. Our youth are understanding who they are at a younger age. And for what I was hearing over here is a lot of what y'all were saying, I wonder would you say it to the parents? Because we need to really look at what the parents of trans youth really go through. Trans youth.
What? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? I gotta let it go.
Instead of them enjoying their life, playing with their friends, they're up in legislation trying to fight for basic rights here. 1 in 5 transgender youth have tried to commit suicide. Why are we trying to police them?
What does this have to do with anything? This is what I mean. What does this have to do with anything? I don't understand this. Why are you even talking about that? That's not even what they're saying. Like, they're, oh my God.
But you're bringing it only to the parents. The question was indoctrination in general, am I correct?
Yeah, like,
but they're a part of that conversation. Someone said something about drag shows coming to schools or whatnot. The kids enjoyed it. The parents just had a problem with it. But that's
what the fuck? The kids enjoyed it, but the parents just had a problem with it. You just said they need to go to the parents. But the parents had a problem with it. Obviously, the parents will have a problem with it because their kids shouldn't be seeing shit like that. This is not like it's Bozo the Clown walking around, you goofy ass motherfucker. It's not like it's Bozo the Clown and they go, oh, go. No. This is sexuality. That's what it is. This is confusion. Kids are not growing up to be or to act or to want to be Bozo the Clown. That's it. But when you talking about, when you are out here saying that you believe it's okay for drag queens who are men, biological fucking men dressed up as a woman and paraded in front of people's kids, children are going to see that and say, damn, how can I do that? Why can't I do that? And how do you distinguish the difference between the two? How can you say, well, if a kid's saying they want to do it, how do you know if that's what they want to do or if that's what they really want to do that in life or they just want to do it because they're influenced by it? This is what they're talking about. You goofy ass motherfucker.
Issue. It's only someone dressed in drag reading a story.
Is
that could have
drag
been
not
anybody.
blackface?
Then why can't you just have somebody reading a fucking story? Why does it have to be a drag queen dressed up reading a story? Like, why? Like, what the fuck is this? Why do y'all want to even read it to kids? Why? Why is this even a thing?
Women. I see it as a caricature of womanhood.
But inherently sexual
insulting.
as well.
I have to agree with you guys. I do not like the drag queen social hours. I personally, as a trans person, didn't ever go to a drag show until I was about 40. I'm not for the sexualization of kids. Why are we not letting kids be kids and bringing sex into their lives so early?
I think it's predatory in general to talk about sex with children.
Yeah.
Straight sex, any kind of sex.
Who's teaching sex to 3rd grade children?
What?
Have you looked at the California curriculum for sex education?
Hold on, wait a minute.
You need to.
What? Who's teaching kids about sex? Yo, we're crazy. These people are nuts. You know who's teaching them. This is what I don't like. Like, let me just let this shit go. I'm sorry.
I know that when I was in preschool, I got my first crush on a boy, because to me at the time, he was in kindergarten, he looked like Prince Eric from
Little Mermaid.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. I don't think like fucking him ever crossed my mind when I was 4, but obviously like it would have been good to know that like it's okay, like if you have these feelings for someone of the same sex.
We think of youth in general, they're having sex at a lot younger age, whether we like it or not. Let's just keep it 100% real.
You don't think it's because of that?
I do not think it's because of that. It starts at home with parents.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Yo, you motherfuckers need to really stop. Everything, see, this is what I mean. You gotta own some shit. You gotta own some shit. You gotta own some shit. This is what they do. It can start at home with the parents, right? It's just something small, and then they'll take it and run with it and say, well, it started at home with the parents, but we're doing much more with it. That's what they do. That's exactly what they do. Shit is crazy to me.
Their children, because one or two things is gonna happen. Either you teach your children or the world is gonna teach your kids. That's the reality of it.
They are learning.
That's the whole point of the whole talk. This is what they're saying, you goofy ass nigga. This is what the fuck they're talking about. That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. They're literally saying that that's what they want to do. They want to teach their kids, but they can't because there's other shit in the way. Like, you're saying what they're saying. You're just trying to act as if, like, Pinky in the Brain type shit.
At younger ages from some adult or even their peers who learned about it from adults. That is, in definition, indoctrination. As a mother and seeing what my children are going to have to be introduced to at such a young age, like I didn't even know what a gay person was till I was like 12. And so they're gonna be having these really heavy adult conversations at a really young age just because of their exposure. And that is honestly just scary because I don't want to have those conversations. That's why I will be homeschooling my kids because I do believe it is my responsibility to protect them and shield them from the outside world, which is targeting children.
The trans community and the trans movement is really shaking the course of what people think gender identity is supposed to be.
So in one sentence, you're saying that you guys are not responsible for the indoctrination that's currently happening with
Absolutely
children.
not.
And in the second sentence, you are saying we are shook by the fact that you are responsible for it.
No, you are.
Yeah. Yes, yo, get that chick a hand, bro. Yo, that right there, there's nothing she can say. That right there, she put her in her fucking place. That's what I'm talking about. That's crazy.
Shook at the fact that the trans movement has become what it is.
And a movement that influences people all over the world, and particularly children. And we see it in the fact that the number of young people identifying as transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer is skyrocketing, which means that children are being exposed to these ideas. And it's certainly coming from institutions like the media, like Hollywood, like our public institutions and schools. So to say that that is not happening or to deny that that is the reality negates the numbers that we're seeing.
What I would say is
that, yo, I gotta run that back. I have to run that back. Let me run that back a couple of seconds, cause she put her foot in her ass. I need to run that back. Yeah.
Because I don't want to have those conversations. That's why I will be homeschooling my kids because I do believe it is my responsibility to protect them and shield them from the outside world, which is targeting children.
The trans community and the trans movement is really shaking the course of what people think gender identity is supposed to be.
So in one sentence, you're saying that you guys are not responsible for the indoctrination that's currently happening with
Absolutely
children.
not.
And in the second sentence, you are saying we are shook by the fact that you are responsible for it.
No, you are shook at the fact that the trans movement has become what it is.
And a movement that influences people all over the world, and particularly children. And we see it in the fact that the number of young people identifying as transgender, non-binary, gender fluid, genderqueer is skyrocketing, which means that children are being exposed to these ideas. And it's certainly coming from institutions like the media, like Hollywood, like our public institutions and schools. So to say that that is not happening or to deny that that is the reality negates the numbers that we're seeing.
Bodied her. The conversation's over. I didn't want to watch no more of the shit. Conversation's over.
I would say is that the idea that there is a single transgender movement and ideology is disingenuous, and that at its core, being transgender is about separating sex from sex roles and gender roles that are compulsory.
Do you think that children should be able to transition medically?
No.
I think
No.
it just really depends on each individual situation. They should be able to make the best medical decision for them.
Yo, these people are wild. I don't understand this. You are so wild that you're saying that a child should be able to make a decision on transitioning, knowing that. Oh my God.
I am comfortable sharing bathrooms with the other side.
Yes, I feel comfortable. Safe, that might be a different question, but comfortable, yes, I feel comfortable.
What I think the bathroom issue opens up is an issue of predatory men taking advantage of the opening. That now they could walk into a women's bathroom or a women's locker room, as we've seen happen in instances like here in Los Angeles at We Spa. And they go into a women's space, they expose themselves to the women, and then they say, well, I'm a trans woman and you've opened up this space for me.
But we cannot blame trans people for that. And
Nobody's blaming you.
That's the problem right here.
Nobody's blaming trans people for that. She's saying, the question was, do you feel comfortable sharing bathroom with others? Has nothing to do with trans. You just making it out to me. She ain't saying, do you feel comfortable with sharing a bathroom with trans? The lady ain't touched. She basically saying like, she okay with it. Is it safe? No, but she okay with a bathroom. You know what I mean? My thing is like, what if a straight man came in the bathroom and wanted to use the bathroom and a woman was in the bathroom? I don't understand. So a biological man can't go in the bathroom, but if you identify as a woman and you're a biological man and you identify as a woman, you can go in the bathroom? How does that make sense? You still got a dick. Like, I don't understand it.
Again, when you walk into the bathroom, I'm not interested in knowing what you are, what you identify as. I'm trying to use the bathroom and leave out of there. What people have tried to say is that when trans women go into the bathrooms, they're being predatory, and that is not the case. That is something we do not blame on trans women. Although you were not saying that, when we talk about predatory behavior and when we talk about like the predatory cases, none of them have been trans women. So I just want to make sure, I know she's not strictly doing that, but because she said that, I think it's very important that I bring that out on the table.
But wait a minute. You said none of them have been trans, but she just cited a case where there was. With the We Spa shit. She just cited a case that it was. So you can't say none of them, but then she just cited a case that it was. She just literally cited a case that it was.
Discuss that.
We have to have the conversation, and I'll open up the question. We know that if this legislation happens, if we move forward with this move, there are going to be men who take advantage of it. Now, I want to ask you, is your comfort as far as going to the bathroom more important than the female women that will be victimized by this?
Who said female women will be victimized by this?
They will, and they have.
No, you're only assuming, but the reality of it is...
No, she's not assuming. This actually happened. Yo, okay, let's just say hypothetically speaking, it didn't happen, right? She asked you a question. You didn't answer the question. Just answer the question.
Again, when people are going into the restroom, when people are only going into the restroom, they're only focused on doing one or two things, and that's using the restroom.
Yeah.
But you didn't answer the question. Is your comfort more important than the female people who could be victimized by this?
Okay, so let me help her answer the question. Which one do you think I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me in? It wasn't the women's restroom. The issue that you're bringing up, first of all, is already violating a whole bunch of laws. Okay, if somebody's exposing themselves in a bathroom, that's a whole different environment rather than just letting trans people in. In California, it's right now 100% legal for trans people to go use the bathroom of their choice. So I don't know what law you're talking about.
You're asking this question as if I would not stand up for cis women that were in the restroom, and that's not the case. Nice dodge there. But the reality of it is, one thing I'm noticing is we're reducing a lot of these particular conversations to genitalia, and it's not about genitalia.
You still ain't answering a question. Oh my God, what are you talking about? Just answer the fucking question.
It's about safety.
Yeah, her concern is the possibility of predation, and that's still a probability. It doesn't matter if trans people are using the restroom or not.
Sure.
But what you're concerned about is...
That's not what she's saying. She's not talking about trans. She's basically saying, if they create this law, there are going to be people who take advantage of it because there are psychotic people who know. Like, I don't understand how y'all don't. I'll get to this at the end.
Or maybe, possibly that people feel more emboldened to put on women's clothes and go into the bathroom. But they're still violating the law all over the place if that's the purpose that they're going in for.
Yeah, so I didn't step forward because, and I know in today's age this is going to sound very radical, and but I don't agree with the whole transgender ideology, and so for me it's encouraging something that is based in what I feel is delusion, and so I don't think that we should be encouraging that by allowing men into women's restrooms.
What is a woman?
I think that if that's the case, that to some extent all gender is delusion. If we're looking at...
bitch, shut up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. You people, bro. You fucking progressives and you motherfucking leftists, liberal, left-leaning, extreme leftists, you motherfuckers be capping hard as shit. Shut the fuck up.
Historically, anywhere from, midwives after the enclosure of the commons in the 1400s, having their whole trade affected, or Brewsters having their trade affected, and now we don't think of women as, Brewsters or that.
What are you talking about? Women always been women, no matter how you try to color it. They always been women, and men always be men. Even through the atrocities that happened to women back in the day, they was always women. They was still women, and they was still men. I would even argue that back then it was more that. You're trying to use some straw man argument, some side argument to say, oh, well, this happened, and they didn't consider women this, but they were still women. They didn't say this, and that had to change. No, what are you talking about?
Beer is a womanly thing. These all came from social conditions. These all came, a lot of gender, regardless of biological sex, it didn't naturally flow out of our genitals, and it was we're this is how my genitals are, so this is how my gender is gonna be.
Stop it. Yo, y'all really need to stop this. You need to stop this. There are two different type of humans. There are two different type of humans. There's not a spectrum of humans. There's two different type of humans. There are women and there are men. Whether you want to say they're different, you name them something different, but they're two different types. 99.999% of the people either is a man or it's a woman. Simple as that. So if you have titties and a pussy in a vaginal hole, and you have a birth canal, you are a woman. Simple as that. If you have breasts or chest and you have a penis with balls, you are a man. That's that. Whether you want to add something to it and try to hyper do whatever, you could do that if that's what you want to do. But ultimately, you are a man and that's a woman. That's it. So you could try to dance around it if you want and say some extra goofy shit that doesn't even mean nothing. You can. But ultimately, it still was people who had to come together to reproduce. Because you can't reproduce without the other. Simple as that.
Happened. That's not life. A lot of people who are either transgender or who are LGBT in general. All my friends were girls. At first, I just remember there were a lot of things where I would kind of come up against people telling me that that's wrong. That whether it's something I like, something I want to do. It wasn't until kindergarten that someone told me that I'm a boy, and I was like, oh, I don't feel comfortable going to any bathroom in this world.
Oh my God, fry me a fucking river. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. I don't feel comfortable with going to any bathroom in this world. You're just a depressed person. That's it. You're fucking depressed. You're just a depressed person. You need to seek some fucking counsel or go seek some help. You sound like you're depressed.
In the current society we live in, and to make trans women the whipping girls of that, I think
nobody's making trans women the whipping girls. Y'all not even paying attention to what was said. She basically was saying that there are going to be predatory men who pose as transgender or who pose as identifying just to get in the bathroom to jerk off or do whatever, some nasty shit around women. That's what's gonna happen. I don't understand why y'all not getting that part. You're trying to make it seem like, okay, that it's trans women that's gonna be doing it. If there's some people who disguise themselves as trans women just to get in the bathroom to fuck with girls. That's what they're saying.
Disingenuous, but I do think that we need a systemic change to make ourselves safer. I don't really know anyone who doesn't feel a little bit uncomfortable going to the bathroom.
And trans people are not a delusion. Let's make it very clear. We're here. We've been here for ages. We've been here since the beginning of time. We're in your history books. And I think it's very disingenuous to say that a whole identity is a delusion.
That's exactly what it is, you dummy. A whole identity is a delusion if you're not that identity. You literally are living a delusion right now. You're living a delusion because I'm gonna explain why.
I believe that you feel like women. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying there is an objective truth, and I don't believe in his truth, her truth, their truth, my truth. Like, there is truth, and
who defined that truth?
And like, it's already defined. And as a Christian, I believe God is the one who set truth.
But who defined that?
Is the truth.
Can you tell me who defined that?
She just told you.
In the Bible Belt with religion.
She just literally told you. That's why I know y'all don't be listening.
Center stage. It's hard for a lot of trans and non-binary folks like myself to really be able to express who they are. I had to really take on my gender dysphoria in private. I couldn't talk to my mom about it. I couldn't talk to my dad, my siblings, because ultimately, I felt like it wasn't going to lead to anything because there wasn't a lot of education in the cis community like there is in the trans and non-binary community. We're talking about a book that was written by man with his own bias.
Who created chromosomes?
Yeah, I'm personally not religious and I believe in science.
When we talk about chromosomes, it goes back to the conversation we were talking about earlier about being intersex.
But we're not talking about intersex. We're talking about people who were born as a male and they try to transition. The whole fact that they're trying to transition into a female in the first place shows that they aren't actually that. Yes. Or else there would be no need to transition.
That is 100% facts. 100% facts.
So you say, okay, I feel like a woman. What is that? What does that feel like?
Yeah, how does that?
And how do you know?
I'm not saying I feel like a woman. I am a woman.
So then why did you transition? Why can't you just present as a man but be a woman?
I transitioned so I could be who I was. I did not feel like I was the person that I identified with when I was born. So I took the steps to align my outside body with how I feel on the inside. What makes you stand up every day and make you identify as a woman? Let me challenge you on that.
I am a woman, and I don't like being called a cis woman because I'm not a cis woman. I'm a woman. I'm not a birthing person. I'm a mother.
So get mad at the terminology, not at trans people.
Okay, so you can't. You gotta take the same thing. You can't just tell her to get mad at the terminology when she tells you the same shit and you get mad. What are you talking about?
New terminology.
But this is what I notice a lot of cis women do. The terminology has been around.
This is what I mean, and this is exactly what y'all do, right? This is why I don't fuck with the trans community. This is why I don't fuck with the gay community. This is why I don't. Because this is exactly what they do. They'll say you're being disrespectful when you say things to them and you don't call them by their pronouns or you don't say what they are or this and that. They'll say that. But she constantly keeps saying cis women. The lady just told her, I'm not a cis woman. I'm a woman. I'm not a birthing person. I'm a woman. And she still says it. She still says it. So how are you sitting here saying that you should be respected as a trans woman or you're not delusional? How can you say that when you're basically disrespecting her the same way? I don't understand.
So long. Cis is a prefix. Cis means same. Instead of getting mad at trans and non-binary people for using updated terminology, get mad at Webster. You're not going along with the times and being educated on the different pronouns and the different identities.
You have to admit, some of the pronouns are kind of ridiculous. I mean, to be, with all due respect, I mean, I'm sure you have to agree some of the pronouns that
I don't
people
think
use.
they're ridiculous. I think they're very expansive.
Oh my God. I gotta stop this video. Like, oh my God. Oh my God.
As a non-binary, people just want you to respect their chosen pronoun. We are not trying to force pronouns on you. Just understand that the terminology is going to continue to grow. If you're willing to educate yourself and understand, then you've got it.
The ability to give birth is a woman's greatest strength. Can the disagreeer step forward?
I'm not able to have children, so I'm still strong. I'm funny. I'm physically strong. I'm smart, and I have a lot of strength. I don't believe that having a baby is the greatest strength, because not all of us can. I cannot have kids due to medical issues from a medical procedure that I had when I was younger, and it's a hard subject to talk about. It doesn't mean I'm any less of a woman, but can we get another question? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
One of the things that I regret was the fact that I would never be able to do that, but I was honored in the ability to participate it from the other side. Women are amazing. They don't just deal with that, so.
While giving birth is not a woman's greatest strength, I do think that only biological women are capable of going through that process and bringing life into the world.
I need to push back on that because we're also forgetting that trans men and trans masculine people can also give birth as well.
Stop it. You really gotta stop it. You really gotta stop it. You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it.
I think it's fair to just set it on one group that says that just biological women have that power to just give birth. And we have to be very clear when we look at the nuances of birth.
I recognize that there are people who have different identities. There are biological women who identify as men and then go on to give birth. I would argue, however, that those people are still biological women.
That's right.
And
That's
I know
right.
that is something that can offend many, but
That's right.
That stands as my belief.
So the correct term is actually cisgendered woman. Cis means same. It means that you identify with the birth that you were assigned. And so, you know, I just really, really wish that we would kind of be a little bit more mutable to the terminology, because I think that's what really is going to open up that dialogue and that discussion.
If I may, I think the crux of the conversation kind of comes back to, are trans women women? And I think if we don't agree there, it's going to be very difficult to kind of keep the conversation going or even agree on the points that you guys are talking about, because if we don't believe that trans women are women, then the conversation kind of ends there in terms of whether they're, like, men can give birth or not, if that makes sense.
I'm not sure that's the case. I feel like the ability to give birth is not like the end-all be-all of a woman's like meaning and life and herself and her.
That's not. Yo, I'm done with this video. I'm out of here. I'm done. I'm done with this. She talking crazy. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? She just talking whatever. It's like, that's not even what the question was. The question wasn't that. Y'all changing the shit to something else. It's just this, man. Listen. Whatever way you want to shade it, whatever way you want to color it, whatever way you want to do with it, what it is, listen. There's only two genders, and that's man and woman. Biologically, a man is a man, person who's born with a chest and a dick and balls. A woman is a person who's born with breasts that's, you know, spits out milk for her children if she has to. A pussy, birth canal, you know, that's it. There is a clear difference between the two. Now, if you want to add your own twist to it, go ahead and do that. But ultimately, when it comes back around, it's still a man and it's still a woman. Whichever way you want to try to color it, you could try to color it a different color. It's still a man and a woman. That's just that. And my thing is, if you are a person that say you are a real woman and you were born as a man, you have to ask yourself, what's the point of you transitioning then? Because if you have to transition, that means that you're transforming into something that you're not, or something different. Because if you are a real woman and you were born as a woman, you wouldn't have to transform into anything. If you were born as a man, you wouldn't have to transform into anything. That's just the bottom line. The whole existence of the trans movement, to me, is a delusion. The whole existence is a delusion because you're literally using the word trans in your title. Transformation. That means to change into something else. So if you are real in your spot, why do you need to transform into something else? I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Anyway, that's the video, guys. You know what it is. Hey, man, Torture Talk. Like, share, subscribe. I'm out of here.